আলাইকুম। সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাই। মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের গ্ল্যাটসম্যান ফাউন্ডেশন কর্তৃক প্রদত্ত ইন্টারন্যাশনাল অ্যাক্টিভিস্ট অ্যাওয়ার্ড গিভিং অনুষ্ঠানে সুদূর মার্কিন যুক্তরাষ্ট্র থেকে গ্ল্যাটসম্যান ফাউন্ডেশনের প্রতিষ্ঠাতা ও চেয়ারম্যান জনাব এলেন গ্লেটসম্যান এবং উক্ত প্রতিষ্ঠানের বোর্ড অফ ডাইরেক্টর ও ভাইস প্রেসিডেন্ট জনাব শ্যারি রৌশে আজকের অনুষ্ঠানে উপস্থিত রয়েছেন। এ বিশেষ দুজন মেহমানের উপস্থিতির কারণে আপনাদের অনুমতি সাপেক্ষে আজকের অনুষ্ঠানটি ইংরেজিতে উপস্থাপন করছি।
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to welcome you, especially our honorable guest, Mr. Alan Gleitsman, founder and chairman of the Gleitsman Foundation, California, USA, and Mrs. Sherry Roche, board of director and vice president of the Gleitsman Foundation, the chairman of the board of Grameen Bank, our honorable board members, and all of our friends and colleagues here today. It is a great pleasure to have you with us. Now, I would like to request Professor Rahman Soban, chairman of the board of Grameen Bank, to chair today's ceremony. I am requesting Professor Rahman Soban to take his chair now. Now I would like to request President and founder of the Gleitsman Foundation, Mr. Alan Gleitsman and Mrs. Sherry Roche, Board of Director and Vice President of the Gleitsman Foundation, to take their chair. To request Professor Muhammad Yunus, founder and managing director of Grameen Bank, to take his chair. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Alan Gleitsman, chairman of the Gleitsman Foundation, California, to speak to us.
Assalamu alaikum. It's really wonderful to be here today to honor the vision of Muhammad Yunus and the extraordinary achievement of many of you, his partners, in the truly noble experiment known as the Grameen Bank. It would be quite foolish of me to try to tell you about Muhammad Yunus, as you very well know his work over the last 20 years. But I do know this. When the Gleitsman Foundation began to solicit nominations for our 1997 International Activist Award, many wonderful suggestions were received throughout the world. But the nomination of Muhammad Yunus stood out from the rest. Most of all, our judges were impressed by the tremendous persistence and tenacity that enabled him and you to overcome the many obstacles created by those that were so sure that poor people without collateral would never repay their loans. What a wonderful feeling of achievement all of you must now feel in the knowledge that your efforts have helped to create meaningful lives for more than 2 million women and their families. Our Board of Judges enthusiastically voted that Muhammad Yunus should be named as winner of our International Activist Award, an honor that he shares with Maria Adela Anticolettes, the spirit behind the Madres de Plaza de Mayo, who led the search for those disappeared by the repressive military dictatorship in Argentina. Past honorees of our award have been Nelson Mandela, the leader of the fight against apartheid in South Africa, Wei Jingsheng, the leader and spirit of the democracy movement in China, Jose Ramos Horta, the persistent advocate for the right of determination of the people of East Timor, and Beata and Serge Klarsfeld, the renowned Nazi hunters. The Gleitsman Foundation was created in the belief that when we are confronted by social injustice, each of us must personally join in the struggle if we are ever to have the world to which we all aspire. We hope that by recognizing the achievements of people like Muhammad Yunus and our other honorees, and the qualities of courage and tenacity that enable them to eventually succeed, others will realize that they too can make a difference. I was personally inspired by a speech by Robert Kennedy some 31 years ago in South Africa. I'd like to share a few of his words with you, as they are the very essence of our philosophy. Robert Kennedy said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all of those acts will be written the history of this generation." Muhammad Yunus and those of you working shoulder to shoulder with him are writing the history of this generation, and we are honored to recognize your efforts. We are proud to present the 1997 Gleitsman Foundation International Activist Award to Muhammad Yunus. There are two parts to this award. One is a check, and also a sculpture. And I'd like to tell you a little about this sculpture. This was created by Maya Lin, who was the young woman who created the Vietnam War Memorial in Washington, D.C. And her idea behind the creation of this was that some people were able to see more clearly than others what must be done to change and better the world. And she therefore created the magnifying glass that you see here in the center of the award. And I can think of no one who better represents the ability that she saw and the ability to change things because of his vision and his persistence than Muhammad Yunus.
Now I would like to request our founder and managing director of Grameen Bank, Professor Muhammad Yunus, to deliver his speech today.
Professor Rahman Suhan, Janab Ellen and Cherry, গ্রামীণ ব্যাংক বোর্ডের সদস্যবৃন্দ, সহকর্মীবৃন্দ এবং গ্রামীণ ব্যাংকের শুভাকাঙ্ক্ষীবৃন্দ, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। I'm really overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed for several reasons. When we began 20 years back, not only nobody noticed us, we desperately tried to draw attention of people around us to listen to us what we had to say. It took us a lot of time to get heard. And then we started finding friends who would pay attention to what we have to say, who would pay attention to what we were doing. We were not much of talkers. We tried to be doers, but there are not too many people around even to see what we are doing, share our excitement, what we found in our doing. Now 20 years later, it makes me feel all of us very happy that people are paying attention to what we are doing and even paying attention to what we are saying. But still, it overwhelms us when we see Gleitsman Foundation on the other side of the world. Among many, many good things that are being done in the world, that you wanted to honor them, you picked among many, you picked us. The fact that you picked us, that's a great honor for us, besides what we have done in that recognition. In the normal way, one is recognized, one is invited to come and receive that award or a prize. But you honor us differently. You came all the way to be with us. You didn't invite me to be with you. And this is a very exceptional honor to have you and Sherry with us. With my colleagues who have done it, they never had a chance to meet the people who appreciate their work. You came all the way to be with them. In honoring me, you honored them. And thank you for giving all of us that honor and recognition. With your recognition, not only we win more friends, we feel more inspired. We feel stronger in our determination in carrying the message forward, which we feel very strongly, which needs to be done. And you give us the courage, you give us the strength, you give us the determination to do all the things we dreamt about doing. You mentioned in your statement about my persistence. Yes, we were persistent, but my persistence was only a symbol of the persistence of all of us here in this room today, and many who are not in this room today, who were persistent to do what they thought was right and to undo things which they thought wrong. And we are determined, we are stubborn to carry out that message. And that persistence is also the persistence of millions of poor people in this country who persisted to have a life of their own, a better life of their own. And we only shared their persistence. Our determination, our persistence came from their persistence. We became strong in our determination because they are strong to live a life of their own. Despite all the disaster that we hear in Bangladesh, which we just had recently, one of them, the cyclone, and the disaster of flood, and political disasters, nature disasters, but we don't give up. We keep on marching ahead with the dream that all of us, all 120 million of us, will have a decent life for ourselves. That each one of us can stand erect and feel the strength of human dignity inside of us, and let our children grow as human beings, look at each other's eyes without any fear, wherever they are. So this is the insistence we keep carrying through us. And today, with your recognition, you inspire us to do more. And this is a very special occasion for all of us, because this month we just hit on the $2 billion mark in our loans. And it's a long way, starting with $27 to 42 people, to come to the $2 billion loan. It is also significant because the first $1 billion that we made was only in March 1995, hardly 2 years from today. It took us 17 years from our day one to make that $1 billion march. In 2 years, we make the second billion. That excites us, that we can probably do $1 billion a year march and more. To have this money in the hands of the poorest on the earth, $2 billion that came and went past our hands, is something transforms in between. When $2 billion can enter my pocket and I have the will and the energy to pay it back, that says something. And in the process, we build a new society. In the process, we throw away the old mindsets which keep us at the places where we are. We want to look at the world differently, feel the world differently. And we came a long way because today we can tell that the mindsets which kept the poor people to remain poor are cracking. We must redesign our institutions. We must redesign our theories. We must retrain our eyes to see the reality of life rather than impose unreal thing over the real things. We will not rest, we will not give up. We'll continue until we see that credit is established as a human right, so that each individual has the opportunity to bring out his or her ability and translate it into the reality that he or she wants. Human beings are not born to slave for other people. It's one way to give the tool, to give the instrument, to dig oneself out of the rubbles, out of the rust that one was put into, and discover his or her own potential. And we'll continue to bring this message until we see we have succeeded in bringing it through. And again, thank you very much, Ellen and Sherry, for giving all of us this honor. And we are so happy, so delighted that you did it in the way you proposed to us, you wanted to do, to be with us and share it with all of us. Thank you very much.
I would now like to invite Professor Rahman Subhan, chairperson of the two-day ceremony, to say a few words to us.
Alan, Sherry, Yunus, আমার বোর্ডে সহকর্মীটি বসে আছেন আমার সঙ্গে, বন্ধু, friends. This is a very significant occasion for all of us here, and indeed for Bangladesh as a country, for the 2 million credit-worthy clients of Grameen Bank, to be present at the award of the Gleitsman Foundation Award to Professor Yunus. Looking at the background to the award, I find something quite significant about the present award to Professor Yunus. So far as I could understand the background of the very distinguished recipients of the award who preceded Professor Yunus, they were all people who were associated with the struggle for human rights in its broader political context. The co-awardee from Argentina is an activist who was associated with the struggle for the assertion of human rights, manifest in the attempt to find justice for all those who became victims of the long night of military dictatorship in Argentina. What is, I think, significant for Professor Yunus to have been included in this list is the fact that this provides a recognition for another and no less important interpretation of the struggle for human rights. The struggle to provide what should have been all along seen as one of the fundamental rights of human existence, the right of all people to a decent livelihood, and the attempt to, in fact, put resources at their disposal which would enable them to express their creativity, to invest their endeavor, to improve their conditions. 2 million plus people in Grameen Bank, and perhaps another million plus in other organizations serviced by microcredit programs, are in fact actually servicing their financial obligations on a regular and quite remarkable basis, because the levels of default tend to be virtually insignificant. This, I think, demonstrates that we as a people and as a society are willing to meet our obligations if an appropriate institutional and environment of both discipline, social justice, and fairness are in fact brought to play in the operation of these institutions. So, in this sense, the achievements of the Grameen Bank and the recognition of the enormous contributions of Professor Yunus in making the pioneering effort to recognize the creditworthiness of the poor is a recognition, I think, of our own people, and we as a country and the numerical majority of this country, in fact, are both recognized and honored by this achievement. I would like to join with Professor Yunus in expressing our deep appreciation to Mr. Alan Gleitsman and his foundation for their enlightened decision and his own imaginative move to, in fact, come to Bangladesh. I would, in turn, like to join with Alan and with all of you here in expressing our deep sense of pride in the fact that Professor Yunus and the Grameen Bank have been so recognized here and on a number of other occasions around the world, in the fact that their achievement has now in fact become a role model, not just in Bangladesh, but at the global level, where large numbers of people, including heads of state, in fact now regularly put Bangladesh on their itinerary so they can come and see some of the significant achievements which have been realized over here. We don't have that many endeavors which receive such recognition, where we do have people in institutions who are worthy of such. We should all feel a sense of collective pride and in the recognition of these endeavors. With these words, I would once again like to both thank Alan Gleitsman for his enlightened decision, and Professor Yunus and his colleagues and his clients at the Grameen Bank for, in fact, contributing to the collective success of this enormous human achievement.
Our next program is a cultural performance. Now, we would like to start our cultural performance. Hope you will enjoy. The first performance is a traditional snake dance by Sultana Haidar and Maidul Islam. The snake charmer is a popular folk dance. The Gypsy Bede community earn their livelihood by catching snakes from forest and jungle. An intimate relation develops between the Bede and the snake. The snake dance is a folk dance on the special feature of this Bede life. Here, the snake charmer imagines the snake as his darling. Now we are presenting few folk songs of Bangladesh. These songs are presented by our popular artist Mr. Kiran Chandra Rai. Bangladeshi instruments are used here. These are dotara, flute or bashi, ektara, tabla, etc. These folk songs are on about friends and eternity and also on about musical instruments.
দিনগুলি কিছু ডাকে কুল ভাঙা নদীর বাঁকে কাল সুপুরীর ফাঁকে ফাঁকে কিছু ডাকে টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল শুনি টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল সব ভুলে যায় তা ভুলি না বাংলা মায়ের কোল বাংলা মায়ের কোল টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল শুনি টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল ওই পারেতে ঢোল বাজে রে এই পারে তার সারা মাঝখানে নয় থই 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 নয়ন জলের ধারা ওই পারে তার সারা ওই পারেতে ঢোল বাজে রে এই পারে তার সারা মাঝখানে নয় থই 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 নয়ন জলের ধারা ওই পারে তার সারা পরাণে মিলাম মেঘনাথি দাস পদ্মারি গান গায় পরাণে মিলাম মেঘনাথি দাস পদ্মারি গান গায় সব ভুলে যায় তা ভুলি না বাংলা মায়ের কোল টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল শুনি টাকডুম টাকডুম বাজে বাংলাদেশের ঢোল দিও তোমার মালা খানি বাউলে মনটারে আমার ভিতরে বাহিরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয় জুড়ে ভালো আছি ভালো আকাশের ঠিকানায় চিঠি লিখো ভালো আছি ভালো থেকো আকাশের ঠিকানায় চিঠি লিখো দিও তোমার মালা খানি ও দিও তোমার মালা খানি বাউলে নেই মনটারে আমার ভিতরে বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয় জুড়ে পুষে রাখে যেমন ছিল হলো সে রাবণ পুষে রাখে যেমন ছিল হলো সে রাবণ মুখতর্ষি তেমনি তোমার নিবিড়ি চলা ও তেমনি তোমার নিবিড়ি চলা ভিতরে অন্তরে আমার ভিতরে বাহিরে অন্তরে অন্তরে আছো তুমি হৃদয় জুড়ে 203-এর ঘরে রে 203-এর ঘর, এই 203-এর ঘরে রে 203-এর ঘর, ইমিতি তান সিন্দাতি তান পিতা পানের ঘর, এই ইমিতি তান সিন্দাতি তান পিতা পানের ঘর রে পিতা পানের ঘর। জ্যৈষ্ঠের আম কাঁঠাল মিঠা আরো মিঠা পান জ্যৈষ্ঠের আম কাঁঠাল মিঠা আরো মিঠা পান জ্যৈষ্ঠের আম কাঁঠাল মিঠা আরো মিঠা পান তার চাইতে আরো মিঠা তার চাইতে বেশি মিঠা তার চাইতে অধিক মিঠা তার চাইতে বেজায় মিঠা 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 যখন লোডশেডিং হয় তখন বোঝা যায় কি মিঠা দৌড়াদৌড়ি শুরু হয়ে যায় কারেন্ট গেলে মিঠা বউয়ের ভাঙা তালের পাখা খান ভাঙা তালের পাখা খান বউয়ের তালের পাখা খান তালের পাখা খান বউয়ের তালের পাখা খান নিম্নে দিতা সিন্ধা দিতা সীতা পানের ঘর নিম্নে দিতা সিন্ধা দিতা সীতা পানের ঘর
We end today's concert with a lively dance performed by Rokeya Haider, Oruna Haider, Salma Begum, Tahmina Selim, Maidul Islam, Zamal Ahmed, Vilayat Hussain. This dance, based on the joyous scene of a village fair encountered all over Bangladesh. This is the end of our 2 days program.